Going to make a nice yummy pudding. We're going to make apple crumble. Now to make the apple crumble, I've got my apples. The apples I'm going to use are Bramley apples. Really nice apples for making apple crumble. They've got a little bit of sharpness and that makes a really nice sort of combination with the sweetness we're going to put on. So they're going to be delicious. So I'm just going to take the apples out of the dish. I've got an oven-proof dish there, and what we're going to do is actually use a little bit of butter. I've got a little bit of butter there which I've just put on a bit of the packaging of the butter itself. Wipe that round, try and get it sort of all round the edges. Now I'm going to move that aside. Now what we're going to do is to peel the apples on the outside, take the skin off, then we're going to slice them in half, take the cores out, and then what we're going to do is slice them down into fairly nice thin slices. Now what I'm going to do is put those into a bowl, and then we're going to make up a really nice mixture of apricot conserve, which is like apricot jam, and we're going to mix that with the juice of 2 oranges. Now if you haven't got oranges, fresh oranges that you can squeeze, you can use a little bit of orange juice out of a carton, or you can use apple juice. What I'm going to do is add the apricot sort of jam, apricot conserve or marmalade. Now I'm actually going to use 3 to 4 good size dessert spoons of that. So I'm just going to give that a stir around, and then we're going to just pour that on top of the apples that have all been sliced up. So I'll just keep stirring that and get that all mixed in. So I've got that all mixed up, and then what we're going to do is just literally pour that over the sliced up apple. Just pour the mixture over. Now incidentally, with the apples I'm using about 1 kilo of apples. Use your hands and just try and mix it all up together to get everything kind of covered, and just really adds a nice fruity flavour to the whole dish. Now once you've got it all coated, what you want to do is pour it into that sort of heat proof dish that we put the butter around. So I've got the dish back in view. Now I'm literally going to pour all this apple in. It's going to really be full up, this dish, but you know, just lay it out a little bit, try and squash it down as much as you can, and then we're going to put the crumble on top, and it will really kind of fill it up. Because what you don't want to do is to sort of present it in a sort of really deep dish and it doesn't look anything. So we finish with the base of the dish, the apple. So what I'm going to do is put that aside, and we're going to get on with the crumble, the top piece. So I'm going to start off with my porridge oats. I'm using like 1 mugful, so there's a good mugful of porridge oats. Then I've got some plain flour. I mean, you can sieve it if you want, but I haven't done that with mine. So I've just got, I'd say about 1 cupful, just under 1 cupful of plain white flour. Then I've got some ground cinnamon. I've actually got about 1 teaspoonful of that. Now the next thing I'm going to add is some butter. I've actually got a block of butter there. We're going to use just over 1/3 of the block. I mean, you'll notice on the back there's actually these little white lines. It says 50 grams, 50 grams. I mean, what you want to do is just chop it up. We've got 100 grams there, so I'm going to chop it up into small pieces and add that into the mixture. So I'm just going to pop the butter in there, and then with your hands we're just going to kind of grab it and squash it all together, and just try and mix this up until it gets almost like sort of breadcrumby sort of mixture, evenly sort of spread over really. And squash the butter, get it all mixed up. So I'll just do this until it's all nicely done. So I've been mixing that all up, all those ingredients, for about a minute or so, and I think they're just about done now. Now the next ingredient I'm going to use is some light brown muscovado sugar. I mean, this is a kind of brown sort of sugar, but you can use a mixture of white and brown sugar, whatever you like. I mean, I'm just going to use muscovado because I think it's really nice for this dish. But if you haven't got that, obviously you can use white sugar, which is obviously a little bit sweeter. Now I'm going to actually add about half a cupful, just over half a cupful of the sugar, and again just give this a quick mix up, try and get it mixed everywhere really. I mean, obviously with the sugar, do that to taste, but you don't want to go too heavy on the sugar, or otherwise you end up sort of having something too sweet. Now the last ingredient I'm going to use, I don't know if you can see that, is golden syrup. Now this is really lovely sort of stuff, and I'm just going to pop on, I'd say, you know, a good little squirt, like so. I'm just going to mix that up. I'm just going to put a little squirt more because I want to get those sort of clumpy bits. That's it. And again, just mix that up. And then we're going to just pour this straight over the top of all that sort of apple mixture. So try and spread it evenly over there. You see we're getting these clumpy bits. Really nice when you taste those bits. So I'm just going to pour that now on top of the apple. So I'm just going to pour that over. I say this dish I'm using is only just about big enough, but I think if I'm careful I should just about get it all in there. And it'll kind of overflow, sit on top, but that's alright. I think it looks better when you serve it up. So I'm just going to gently spread that around. Again, you can always push it down a little bit just to make it sit there. You're probably thinking I've chosen too small a dish, but I think this is a good size. Get it right up to the edges. So you've got a nice thick layer on top. That's it. Got it all in there. Now we're going to put that into the oven. So I'm just going to pop that into the oven around about 180 degrees, which is about 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and leave that for about half an hour until it's a nice golden brown colour on top. I've been cooking mine for just over half an hour, probably about 35 minutes really. You see it's got a really nice golden brown colour, looks delicious, smells of that cinnamon, oh beautiful. And you see underneath it's been bubbling and all those sort of juices come up around the edges, and oh, it's all mixed with the topping. It's going to be delicious. So what we're going to do is pull it out of the oven and we're going to let it settle for about 10 minutes. Just let it cool down and let those flavours sort of settle down a little bit. And we're going to serve it up with maybe a little bit of ice cream, or you can have it with a bit of custard, whatever you like. So I've got the apple crumble and I've left it for about 10 minutes so all those flavours kind of settle down. So what I'm going to do is serve it up on a plate. So I've got my plate there and I'm just going to nibble a little bit away from the corner there. I'm just going to pull that out. Try and get it out in one scoop if we can. Tricky, tricky. I'm just going to put a little bit of vanilla ice cream. Really nice to go with this. We're just going to try a little bit of that. First of all, I'm trying that crumbly bit. Get some of this sauce on there. Look at that. Looks lovely. Let me try. Really nice. I would say it's the right balance of sugar. Not too sweet. Really nice, and you get the texture of all that porridge oats. Gorgeous. You can try that a little bit of ice cream. And let's have a bit of that sauce. Looks nice. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.